You're such an asshole.
All right, we have a unique question. Never had this question or a question like it before, but I gotta laugh because I love forensic files. Like the old lady, it's kind of cool. Like, well, how'd they figure the guy did it? And you don't have modern day technology because the show started in the 80s. And you got dogs, and you got a footprint, and we traced it back to the car print. And oh my God, look, some burrs from a tree where the body was found. So it's kind of clever how they did it back in the old, and now they run it through the lab. You were there on the crime scene, guilty. Oh wait, was it? No, I can't say that. I can't say that. I was so close to saying. Oh, and by the way, the thumbnail's a fucking joke. It's a regular meme. Not all white women are into like murder Nebraska. Okay, just like 93% of them. I kid. I don't know. We never pulled it. A majority of white women are not into that stuff. Though most women, regardless of race, do seem to love themselves a criminal thug. They really do seem to love that. That I will go on record, Your Honor, on the record. Say that women will rather date a jack criminal than a reliable, nerdy Chad Hawkins like CPA. I'm on the record as saying that, sir. I defy you to prove me wrong, Your Honor. So here we go. Hey, Cappy, longtime fan, 33-year-old male. I'm writing you to ask for advice on how to get out of a depressive state of mind from watching horrible true crime cases. I started watching for curiosity, but have had to put a full stop on watching such material, but the effects are still around. Yeah, well, look, I'm no psychologist, and neither are the other psychologists. But it would seem to me if you're watching videos exclusively of murder and hate and maiming and killing and torture, you're not going to be in the best of mental moods. I'm not kidding. I've started watching Walter Jeffrey, the world's most dramatic French bulldog. Oh my God, is he hilarious? And then of course I'm watching a dog video, so I get a bunch of other recommended dog videos, and I watch puppy videos now. They're fun. It's much more enjoyable to watch that than, oh my God, did you hear the leftist Democrat want more of your money and they're doing insane things? And yeah, it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. So one, stop that, and you did. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I like the strategy on how did they figure out who did it. I also like Alan Ballin, and some of those are real creepy. It's macabre, but it's very fascinating nonetheless. But at the end, it doesn't keep me up at night. The GF, she can't do it. Like, keeps her up at night. So then it's hilarious. I bought her a gun. Not due to this. I bought her a gun because I love her. And, I got a gun. You don't have a gun. We're out of balance. We're out of sync. You need your own gun. So what ended up happening, I bought her a nicer carry gun than the original carry gun I got, but she never carries it. So I'm like, well, fuck you. I'll take your gun. But a couple times we go watch whatever murder mysteries or whatever, and the husband killed the wife, or someone came in. There's a guy living in the house. There's a creepy one where a guy lived in the house in the attic and no one knew about it for years. And then she starts carrying the gun again, and he lets it go. So I would not just stop it. Don't do that. You got to realize there's billions of people on the planet. At least 50 billion have lived for, the entire time we've been on the planet. And you're just getting the most sensational, dark, macabre, clickbait, viewership murder mysteries the history of the world has had to offer. So if it's any solace to you, the chances are very microscopically small. And so I could tell you not to watch it, not to let it bother you, but it's already in your head. So it obviously is bothering you. But step one is to stop watching it. but I've had to put a full stop on watching such material, but the effects are still around. I recently started binge watching true crime shows. What are you, a white guy? What the hell is going on? You going to major in sociology while you're at it? What the hell? Are you going to run for school office so that you can have the kid? Recently started binge watching true crime shows the last several months, and recently I saw the new infamous John Benet Ramsey case documentary. That's the little girl that was a beauty pageant contestant girl that just released on Netflix, and it broke me. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the case, but the details are horrible. I had to look it up. I thought it was a guy. I thought it was the guy that had his unit cut off. But it's a little girl. But the details are horrible. How can I enjoy life when such evil exists? Well, the evil has existed this entire time, right? And you're going to probably the most depraved, fuck up, mentally ill cases of it. So it's a choice to you. You can force yourself to enjoy life and accept these are unfortunate realities of human nature and human history, or you can let it ruin your life, worrying about it all the time. It's the same thing as your own death. Well, you're going to die. Do you want to live in fear of that? Everyone dies. I am not going to live my life living in fear of death because it's going to happen one way or another. And so logically, if you could practice the stoicism that requires, evil exists all the time. I mean, if it really pisses you off, you could always become an investigator. You could become like that guy that they made the movie of that the Democrats all hated, which confuses me, is very telling, I would say, of Democrats and the left, where the movie came out where the guy wanted to stop the child trafficking, and the left came out against it. I'm like, why are you what does this have to do with politics? Oh, you're the politics of Epstein Island. Like, why are you coming out? Like, I never really, I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but boy, you guys have an unhealthy interest in children, don't you? That's not the Republicans. Republicans are so weird, they're so nerdy, and they start wars, and I hate Bush. Yeah, what about children? Where's that come? Oh, there are things worse than that. Yeah, I figured. You could, if it's bothering you that much, go fight it. Be the good guy. Go stop it. How can I enjoy life when such evil exists, like what happened to that poor girl, as well as other crime victims? Also, how does Cappy react to true crime stories and not let it affect you mentally? Peace. Well, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't think about it that much. I won't lie. I disassociate myself from it. I'm more focused on the, someone gets hit by a truck and dies. That's not interesting. It's sad and tragic, but it's not interesting. Someone through a love triangle who was embezzling funds, also now or more so, I guess my angle, how did they capture the bad guy? You're not focusing on the tragedy of death. I mean, even now with that healthcare CEO, who I don't even care about his name. No, you shouldn't get murdered in the streets of New York, despite the Democrats' best efforts to keep Daniel Penny incarcerated and punish good people and vote pro-criminal. You still, no matter what the Democrats tell you, murder is wrong. Okay. Crime is bad. But looking at the CEO who got bumped off, like, no, that's kind of tragic. It shouldn't be that. Do you want to vote laws in that, I guess they're already under investigation. You don't have to shop there. Should there be more rate? Right. There should be. Is the CEO, is he a scumbucket? Probably. But people don't focus on the murder. They focus on the entertainment value or the intrigue. It's not even as shallow as intrigue or just clickbait. It's actually very interesting. Oh, one of the largest health insurer CEOs got bumped off. And then you find out all the salacious deeds. The parents are separated and you're in Minnetonka. which is a wannabe Wayzata, where a bunch of pretentious assholes in the Twin Cities all live. Like it fits a stereotype. It's interesting. You don't want people just randomly murdering people on the streets of New York, except for the Democrat City Council, who just love people getting killed and murdered in New York. They just, oh my God, they're like the. Okay. Oh, I gotta be careful what I say. Yeah, but that you seem to you probably got a better soul than most of us. We're like, what about the dead person? You're right. You're right. What about the dead person? But people aren't focusing on that. And I'm one of them. I don't focus on the tragedy and the loss of life. I'm like, well, how do you trace a dog hair to a dog 5 states over? That's real interesting with 1991 technology. That's real interesting. And probably you have probably a better soul than most of us. And you shouldn't be watching these things then, because instead of focusing on what the entertainment value or the interesting or the intrigue is, you're focusing on the tragedy. So yeah, you can't watch these, man. You can't. So I would say, and that's maybe a good sign. You care a little bit more than the average guy. You think of your fellow man a little bit more, and that's a good thing. But yeah, you can't. Well, what is it? I think cops have one of the highest self-deletion rates because they just see too much. They just see way too much. Too many dead bodies, too many abandoned or hurt kids. Yeah, they'll take your toll on you. It will. And so stop looking at it. Doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're not appreciative of your fellow man's life or fellow woman's life. But there's nothing you can do. You're just torturing yourself. Also, how does Cappy react to true crime and not let it? Yeah, so it doesn't, because I don't think about it. It's a classic line from Midnight Run. How can you eat that knowing it's bad for you? Because I don't think about it. I don't. So that's how I handle it. But how can you enjoy? One, stop watching it. 2, if it really bothers you, I'm sure there's that help to find the kids crime network. The movie that the Democrats hate, there's that nonprofit. You could go become a cop. You could become an investigator, a forensic scientist, or forensics investigator. But then how do you get over it? Like if you're worried, like, oh, am I gonna? Oh my God, am I a threat? Am I in danger? How can I live knowing there's like the murderer is around a corner? Which is how one group of people worries about. How can I live knowing around every corner? Not only is there Ryan Gosling, there's a raisinist around every. These corners are awfully populated with Hugh Jackman, Ryan Gosling, George Clooney, and a bunch of raisinists. Because right around that corner, not only is it George Clooney, but there's somebody out there to raisin you. And then look how miserable this group of people who shall be unnamed, but are constantly worried about being raisined. Have you ever ran into them? They can't go out at night. They can't go out to this thing. They can't, because, oh my God, what if there's not George Clooney around the corner, but it's a raisinist? I don't, dude, you're dysfunctional. You gotta be somewhat intelligent about where you go. But I should be able to go anywhere wearing whatever I want. You're not my problem. Go do it. Go do it. Just make, I hope for your sake, Daniel Penny is exonerated. Won't say which group of people that is. So I've come up with some things that if you're really staying up and not like, oh my God, is this going to happen to me? But these are pretty good rules anyway. Not just to avoid getting murdered, which is generally a good policy. I don't know about you. I generally like to avoid death. But you're going to avoid a lot of pain and trouble and agony, not least of which is the legal kind. So the first thing I'd say for you to be able to function here is familiarize yourself with crime statistics. These shows cultivate the most macabre and obscure murders. right? This is not reflective. This is just like TikTok girls are absolute cancer. They don't reflect all women. Neither of these shows reflect society. I'll give you a perfect example. All these girls who cut their hair because Trump won. Have you seen any bald women? I haven't seen any bald women. I haven't seen it because it's not that common, but it's sensational. So if you could, whatever, FBI, you could just look up crime statistics and realize, per 100,000, what is the murder rate? What is the carjacking rate? All that other kind of stuff. And I don't know if you need to visually see it, get a visual representation. Like, what's 3 in every 100,000? Well, okay, there's 3, and then show 100,000. Like there's 3 on a chart, and then 100,000. I would also say the fact you're alive today and you haven't been murdered, you've been around for a decade. That's got to prove to you. Have you ever had to worry about it? Somebody ever coming up on you 6 thinking that has that ever happened? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's statistically very unlikely to happen. So maybe a little bit of mathematical study will help you out. Another thing, and this is the one I think is the most the John Benet Ramsey girl. I have written down here: stay out of weird people's worlds. Okay, that's that one thing I observed is there's always some kind of weirdness going on. Stay out of druggies worlds. Stay out of culty worlds. Stay out of jealous husbands worlds. And the world of children beauty pageant contestants. That's a weird world. There's going to be some weird, fucked up, mentally ill people there. I don't even know about John Benet Ramsey. I don't know. Did they find a murderer? I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to guess it had something to do with being either in or adjacent to the the child beauty pageant world, which is fucked up. Wiccans, no offense to the Wiccans out there. I just, you sleep with one eye open if you're dating one. Hippies, Antifa, and it's not because of their leftist politics. I'm just like, something's off there, man. It's like, yeah, I'd avoid not Hanging Man, Burning Man. No, just kind of, I just avoid weird people. That's what I would do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like quirky people that are fun or have eccentric hobbies that are fun. But yeah, I'm not gonna look at 5-year-old girls dressed in makeup and dresses. No, not me. Don't go to criminal areas. That's kind of a common sense one, as Daniel Perry is finding out. The lady in Philadelphia on the subway, she found out. Just avoid those areas. Don't go, like, I'm not taking the L in Chicago at night. Not because, are you afraid? Well, if you gave me a gun, I wouldn't be. Oh, but if I carried a gun, you Daniel Perry me, huh? So if you can't defend yourself or, you're by yourself, just avoid criminal areas. Another one I noticed, I mean, these aren't scientific studies or anything, but a lot of the forensic files is always some kind of love spat. One I don't get is the guy wants to be single again, and then instead of just divorcing his wife, he opts to murder his whole family. I'm like, I think there was a less drastic solution to that. I think there was a much better solution that would be called divorce your wife. You don't have to murder them and burn the house down. But that's just me. But a lot of cheating. The one thing I love about, well, there's many things I love, but one of the greatest things about the forensic files is they start out Bob Bobson and Betty Bobson were the perfect happy American couple. They lived in a nice suburbanite home and they had 2.1 kids, and Bob was a dentist bringing in $200,000 a year. And they were happy and and then after the first commercial break, they come back. Bum, bum, bum. But all was not as well as you thought in the Bobson house. You're like, well, why'd you lead with all the happiness and bullshit? She was fucking the neighbor. He was fucking the pastor's wife. And then he was embezzling money. And they always, they hastily take out a life insurance policy on the person they're about to murder. Scores of instances. I think the cops are aware of that. Like, if you're thinking, look, it's one thing to want to bump out your spouse, but then I need $500,000 when they're gone. That's where they screw it up. Anyway, the whole point is whether it was a infidelity or a mistress or embezzling money, always kind of correlated with that. And then the jealous husband or jealous wife and I got a solution to that. Just let women go. Just let them go. And you say, well, what do you mean let them go? A lot of this, and ladies, you could do the same thing. A lot of reasons the murders happen is because you felt or they felt like they owned the other person and were betrayed. And a very simple way to avoid that is to realize you don't own a human being ever, even if they say vows and commitment. I know it feels that way, but you got to realize if someone's going to walk out on you, they don't like you anymore, you probably don't want them. And you're like, okay, bye. To avoid all this, like you personally, like I bet, you know what's funny? I'd be very curious out there if there's an actuary. I wish Fred was still alive. If married couples face higher risk of death, because now you have love, intense emotional feelings, oftentimes confused with ownership, that if that relationship breaks, there's an increased death. I know men's self-ending rate goes up after divorce. I wonder if married, like what happens to your chance of either you getting bumped off or your spouse getting bumped off if you get married. If you don't get married and there's none of that emotional drama or attachment or baggage, or if you can stoically like, oh, you found another guy, cool, get your shit and get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna murder anyone. No, I got a life to live. You are free to go. That's fine. No, you could take the kids too. I'd be the most stoic. I'm like, well, I'm going to get them half the time. You're going to corrupt them the other time. The teachers are going to corrupt them the remaining time they're in school. I'm going to have like a heart-to-heart talk with each kid. Say, hey, look, here's what's going to happen. I'm not abandoning you, but there's no way I can raise you. When you are 18 and out of the house and need help with college or whatever else, come talk to me. All right. But right now, this is, and by the way, your mom's going to lie to you, your teacher's going to lie to you, and you're going to fuck up your life, and you're going to have these expectations. It's not going to happen. But when you're 18, we can actually have a healthy, I'm sending the money. All right. I'll send you guys the money. I'll show you, and I'll set aside gifts for you in Christmas. We'll have like a big old Christmas, like you're 18 and a half. But in the meantime, that's all. Nope. No, there you go. I get to keep the house. You get to keep the kids. Good luck with that. No kidding. She couldn't do it. She couldn't pay for it. No kidding. Really? Really? Well, let me tell you about our Lord and Savior STEM. STEM will allow you to make $80 an hour. Let's go read this book, Worthless, by this schmuck over in Minnesota. So that's one thing you could do. I mean, I'm not saying don't fall in love, but you know what? Getting emotionally melted into someone else, and then that person decides to pull away, you're going to get very angry. Or if you pull away, they're going to get very angry. And that just jealousy, if you could avoid jealousy, that would help out. Or jealous people. Don't tell anyone you got money. There's no reason for you to tell anyone that you got money. I didn't see that so much. It wasn't like the guy had lots of money. They wanted to bump him off. It wasn't that. But, Oh yeah, we found out he's got a lot of money. Although I wonder if that's gone down because all the money is digital and it's in a bank, right? This isn't the days where you had money in the mattress and you kept your gold coins out back. I'm wondering. I wonder if that is. But You don't need that. You can leave for safer communities or countries. Even find out what the murder. I'm just going to assume Baltimore is kind of a. The Democrats. The Baltimore. I don't know if you knew this, but Baltimore has a festival where all the Democrat politicians they form the inner circle around a statue of Karl Marx. Then all the Democrat people who have voted for him, but the politicians are in the circle and they all jerk off to the Karl Marx statue as they vote in higher crime. Okay, so you want to avoid pro-criminal societies. I wish I was being mostly facetious. I'm not. They're voting pro-criminal societies in, or opposed to living in, I don't know, Flagstaff, Arizona. I think they still let the cops arrest the bad guys. I'm going to assume the people of Flagstaff don't love criminals more than they love their citizens. Maybe, I don't know. Is Flagstaff turning into a hippie hole? You just want to avoid those places, right? And if the United States is too dangerous for you, there are safer countries. I would say Asian countries, generally speaking. You got to look up the statistics. But that's something you can do. And then there's your person. Can you get a carry conceal? Are you in a state that allows you to do it? Will you be arrested if you defend yourself and other people and are a good Samaritan, like Daniel Penny, like in New York City, where they literally will be pro-criminal? Minnesota, oh my God, we love the criminal. Ah. So you got to deal with that. Mace, we can still do that, I think, most places in the United States. Home security systems and just common sense things, leave your car parked under a light. Don't go out when bars are letting out at 2 a.m. Just don't get involved with dramatic women who have a swath of men bodies behind them where all the men are jealous, like kind of a, not a Jezebel, a siren. There was always those girls who they just had the ability to get big and strong men, oftentimes with criminal records, to just fall in love with them. And then they'd leave these guys or string them along. And then you're this unsuspecting dope and they come along. And all of a sudden there's like a guy threatening you. I'm like, well, who's the guy who's giving me the bat? Oh, that's my ex-boyfriend. Kind of like, does he know that? Thank God this is Wyoming. I got a gun. Oh, he is 6'4", but I don't think his skin will sustain against a 1,500 feet per second piece of lead going through it. I got an idea. How about you did just avoid that girl? Yeah, I mean, there's others, but that's kind of what comes to mind right now. Hopefully, look, and here's the main thing is you're never going to be able to get rid of all chances of bad things happening to you. A great story is it was the RAF, the British Air Force, back in World War II. And you think, oh, how romantic, how cool to be a fighter pilot in World War II. No, it sucked. Those guys are getting killed and swapped out of the sky. And I forgot what the statistics were, but it was a significant chance you were going to die. And there'd be this I was listening to a documentary, a World War II fighter plane guy from Britain was saying, like, yeah, you'd go through this for about a week or two, and then you realize you couldn't function. You can't live. You can't live like that. No, you can't live like that. You can't function constantly worrying. So you would just get up there and not worry about it, and then you could function. It's the same thing here, but you don't have like a 1 in 3 chance of getting killed. It's very minimal. It's microscopic. It's even less if you make some common sense things and, shrink your silhouette and your profile and just avoid don't date Wiccan people. There you go. I think that's how those group of people live. They didn't date the Wiccan girls. Oh, That's why their tires aren't slashed. Yeah. Yeah. They got half the tire expense compared to the control group. But yeah, the main thing is you don't control it and you're going to ruin your life worrying about it. So never consume it again. Don't worry about it, but don't be ignorant about it either and take them and then get on with your life. That's it. Any super chats? Holy shit, 10 super chats for this? Are we all watching the shows? Ass Bucket, $5. Cappy, bro, dude, why are you wearing a shirt with another man's name on it today, bro? Because I have a penis. That's right, Sunday, isn't it? Sunday. I decided to go to the gym. I decided to do some work here. I'm painting a panel on my car. It's a little you gotta go at it once. Light, frequent coats. Get that perfect. It's a very time-consuming, tedious, sit and wait, hands-off type of thing. I have way more important things to do than watch the game, bro. Reed Schwartzer, $5. Cappy, didn't Rolo talk to you about this? You're just trying to raise your male supremacy score at this point. No, tons of women who watch it. Yeah, look, they're interesting shows. I don't mind me a good serial killer documentary. And that's why it's funny is there's a small group of women who are like really get off on it. And the implication, it's just that men can take a joke and women can't. Oh my God, Jesus. No, some women find it funny too. I'm going to assume my audience could take the joke. We'll find out if the fraggy hoo-ha's out there cannot. That's a common meme though, isn't it? Everyone knows that. Drew, $10. Just an observation. It seems like there's no empathy for the United Healthcare CEO. No, there isn't. Do you think this is going to change the way insurance companies do business going forward? No. No. If there was a wave, like if there was an all-on assault and 5 bought it in 1 week, then they'd be like, oh crap, we overstepped our bounds. I'm like, all right, we'll do the thing we said we're going to do in the contract. No, it's not going to. It'd have to be more than one off. I think some healthcare CEOs are thinking. You're like, ooh, I better be careful. Yeah, you can't look. You can't treat society like utter shit. You can't engage in criminal behavior. I know it was according to law. I mean, the larger use of the term criminal, unethical behavior. You can't lie to people and shirk them and essentially screw them over and then expect them to not retaliate in some way, least of all, not use your product. And, it's one thing if Sony slides in $100 a year expense I didn't really agree to and was unaware of. It's another thing if, we'll find out. His firm probably denied the claim of someone very dear to this person that bumped him off. I'm going to guess that's what it is. And I love all the sanctimonies. Oh my God, it's still an ending. And oh my, how dare you have, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Oh no. Like a tax, the tax collectors, in the old Palestine days, the tax collector got stampeded by a bunch of camels. That's just too bad. Oh no. Karen in HR got diagnosed with a type of cancer. Oh, that's just too bad. The person posting the fake job postings. That's just horrible. I don't know. We'll find out. Like I said in my original video, like, oh, if it turns out that this was something, he was the greatest CEO ever, fine. Like, yeah, you shouldn't. But in the meantime, look, you shouldn't murder anyone. I agree with that. But oh fuck. Oh, an asshole died. Oh, too bad. Somebody who makes people's lives worse. Somebody, too bad. Just too fucking bad. Drew, $2. I think insurance is a racket in general. Yeah, it's rapidly becoming that. It should be insurance. It's its own unique product. You should have people give you money. You invest it and manage it. You guys make a profit, right? You collect more money. You have your actuaries come and say, here's the amount of money you need to collect to make payments on the bad things that are going to happen to your insured, and to leave enough money to cover your expenses of the employees of the firm and pay the owners a good modicum of a rate of return. Nope. It's all of all the industries you shouldn't be profit maximizing in. It should be insurance. And if, what was it, 30% of the claims were denied? Okay. Okay. Floliker, $2. He says, hi. Ass bucket, $2. All of Western Minneapolis is pretentious. Oh yeah. Yeah. Once you go on that other, you don't even have to go on the other side of 494. Once you go on the other side of, I'd say, definitely 169. We're just better than everyone else. Fuck you people. Yep. Drew, $2. Did you get a lawyer for your insurance nightmare? No, I just kept hounding them, and inevitably a manager got in contact with me. I think they knew that their agent or the customer service person I had wasn't doing their job, or they realized he ain't going to go away. And that was that. And it was funny. Like, there was no attempt to like keep me as a client. My payout wasn't even that much. Over the years, oh God, decades that I've been a homeowner, I've tossed them. Oh, good Lord. I can't even imagine how much I've tossed them. I mean, like, because I didn't, my house is, you get older, you have different assets that need to be insured. But I got to imagine 2020 years, what is it, 40 grand? Yeah, 40 grand. I think my payout was 7 or 6 when all was said and done. I think 3 of which, half of it was one battery on my solar panel battery bank went. The rest of it was a garage door wouldn't open. We had to reprogram the $300-$400 fixes here and there. And I'm thinking, okay, so you ended up having to pay me $6,000 anyway. Out of 40 grand I've given you over the years. That's a low ball estimate. I'd have to look up what my insurance premiums are. And we must have wasted $2,000 of their labor sending people out, having to have claims requested. Oh, no, new ones, this and that. I just think, do you want to make money? Like, what the fuck? And then they pissed off the wrong guy. I don't know how many people I prevented going with American Family Insurance, but I guarantee you it's more than they ever made off of me. And I don't know if corporations are alive or awake to know, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't start pissing off everybody, especially those who have channels that might cost us more in the long run. That's fine. Some people use influencers to endorse their product. Say, look, we got a good product. Here it is. We'd like you to really and tell us we'd like you to speak highly of the product. But when it comes to customers, oh, well, you're not an influencer as far as we know. Here's your shit fucking product. Oh my God, why did the guy go on the internet and prevent people from getting fucked over like he did? Oh, I don't think there's that self-awareness. Not a large bureaucratic organization. That's fine. That's fine. Naughty DJ Aftershock, $5. With all the rage about that new Indiana Jones game, you know what I did instead? Found my old copy of Mercenaries 1, booted up the Xbox and played. I got all my Xbox 360 games organized in the Southern Command. And I'm going to play Borderlands 1 here pretty soon. Ace Montana, tied for first place with the most American name in America, $2. My brother has 2.1 kids. They all have 2.1 kids, Ace, because they were told to. They're not humans. They're just NPCs that do the exact same thing they were told. Universal Coordinate, a generous 31 Australian dollars. Living in a country where you can't have a gun for protection makes most people here a target. Our murder rate is growing fast. Our society glamorizes true crime. Yep. Look, hey, ladies, you want crime? History will gladly give it to you. The human race, what's the word? The human psyche, the human nature will give you as much crime as you guys can vote for. Nonstop Dre, $2. Did you get the news on Chad Arkin 3 My? Ask, what the fuck, Dre? What are you talking about? What's Arkin 3 My? Arkin 3 My, ask Chad. No, I'll ask him. Steve Health and Fitness, $5. Check out Crowd Health as an alternative to health insurance. I'm a business owner, so it looks appealing to me. Okay, I will. I just got catastrophic. And I think actually I am insured like a subsidiary of United Health, which makes me wonder, like, okay, 30% of your claims are rejected. Am I, if I get hit by a truck, the one job your catastrophic insurance has to do is like patch them back up. All right, there you guys go. Link below is linked to all my all my stuff, the books, the courses all offered through Teachable. Both the books and the Teachable courses are personal financial management stuff. It's boring, but it's good. It's important for you. Just like Steve's Health and Fitness. Yes, it is boring. Health and fitness is boring. Yes, eat your broccoli. No, don't eat ice cream. Yes, you have to lift heavy weights. Boy, everybody, they just want to interrupt me. Pick up the phone when I fucking call you, as the most arrogant man ever said. Also link below is the Amazon affiliate program. Don't watch the Sports Bowl. Do all your shopping online so you don't have to go out with the normie conformies and inferiors out there at Walmart. Do all your shopping online and do it through my Amazon affiliate link. It's down below. And that's it. Drew's got $2. Insurance companies have altered assessor findings. Altered assessor's findings. That's fine. I got time. I don't have kids. You see the thing you said you're going to insure me at? We're going to do that. And if you don't, we will drag you to court. We will file a complaint with the insurance regulatory authorities in each state. All right, that's it. See you guys later, Toodles.